Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDM44 coming at you with another video. So, I just want to kind of address something that's already been talked about on my channel a little bit. Um, I'm more than guilty of this. I think it's a learning experience, a teaching experience for myself. Uh, when talking about athletes, talking about people who you don't know, who you don't have communication with, or have sources with, or what have you, it's just so very important not to believe in narratives that are given to you by the media and by individuals who will just come up with stuff just to get, views and things of that nature. It's okay to be entertained by these narratives, and it's definitely okay to take from it what you will to help incorporate lessons into your life, maybe lessons that could be learned from certain stories, but no different than watching art on television. If you watch This Is Us or something like this, you might take something very, very good from it and incorporate it into your life and take a real lesson and put it in your life. But that doesn't mean that that's a real story. It's just written by somebody who may have learned a lesson from their own life or from someone else's life and incorporated it into their script. It doesn't necessarily mean that those actions took place. Just learn from it just the same. And that's what I try to do here. So just because something is being spoken of on this channel, and uh, and I speak about it, taking from it the essence of what I feel I can take from it, does not mean that I'm um, completely sold that what I'm saying is the truth, that is coming my way, and that it can't be a false or whatever. I'm not one of those people that's going to come up here and tell you that just because I've taken something that could really help me from a situation, that it just had to be the case. I don't, as you can see, I don't believe that. I think a lot of my videos, when you go back in the past, you'll see me addressing people based on the narratives that I'm referring to. And the only reason why I'll do that is for one, well, two reasons. One, because I'm believing the bullcrap, or because I'm trying my best to address the the situation as if it were a person, or address the circumstances if it were you, a person on the other end who could receive whatever it is, wisdom, whatever it is I feel like I'm giving you. So, like, for example, if we're talking about example only, Ben Simmons, I may talk to the camera speaking to Ben Simmons. I don't want anybody on here to think that I think Ben is actually listening. He may, but the wide public is listening. The most important thing is that I personalize whatever the subject is so I can speak to it. And that's a good way for me to communicate whatever it is that I got going on in my head. So I just want to give you guys an understanding of where I'm coming from when I personalize stuff. I say, Kyrie, you need to do this. Ben Simmons, you need to do this. It's not necessarily because I'm believing the lies. It's just because if somebody else is in their situation, or if this happens to be true, and I were somebody in their corner, this would be my 2 cents for whatever it would be worth. Not to assume that they would even listen to it, or that it would be best for them to incorporate what I have going on in my head into their lives. Because again, at the end of the day, if I look around me, I don't see those circumstances. So I'm not delusional or confused about whether or not my experiences can help them with their circumstances. I think for myself, I have a certain level of confidence in my ability to put things together, just because over the years I've been able to be in my space where I'm at and be able to look at pieces and situations from from other things, and be able to actually make some sense of it and be able to help in some ways. In the past, I've been able to do that. So for me, it's like, okay, that gives me a little confidence that I can not necessarily be involved, but take whatever it is that I see and make some sense of it. So that's what I do. Um, and I think I'm okay at it. I think I'm getting better. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you guys, man. As I look online and I see a lot of people believing narratives. See, the thing about me is, like, I might believe what is being said to me, but then as soon as I stop believing it, my opinion changes. I incorporate new stuff, and most importantly, I come to these conclusions that I myself need to stop this, that, and the third. I don't know that everybody comes to those conclusions when dealing with these narratives. I don't know that when things are proven false, uh, do a lot of people stop and look and wonder how they came to the conclusion to believe something that wasn't true. And I think for myself, it's just about understanding that the media has done a fantastic job over time, preparing us to believe whatever stories that they come out with, whether they're true or false. They've massaged our brains in such a way to where they know exactly what buttons to press to get us going. They know exactly what to say to us to get us riled up. They know exactly what will make us think and will make us have conversations. I think the most important thing for us to do is to undo some of that nonsense that we've been conditioned uh, to believe and start to apply our own logic to it. Start to have conversations such as these on our channels that can kind of sort through all that mess. Because some of it is indeed mess. It's just mess. You know, and that's what I've come to terms with. This Kyrie Irving situation has taught me a lot. It has. Just seeing all that I had to say before he got up there and talked about himself on this 25-minute IG live, and then after that IG live, seeing the media talk to a mass public that they assume hadn't seen that 25 minutes, and paint it in such a way that I would assume they paint everything they assume we haven't seen all the way through. And that bothered me. It's like, you can't tell me after watching 25 minutes of that particular person speak that what he was saying was this, or this. He was the only person holding the camera, speaking to me for 25 minutes, speaking to the world for 25 minutes about whatever was on his mind. And then to see the commentary afterward, it was like, it was one of two things in my mind could say. It's either they interpreted what he said in that time period differently than I did and are telling the world what they saw, which is nothing wrong with that, or they interpreted what he said the right way or what have you, and they interpreted it the way he intended for things to be interpreted, and they're reporting it differently than what it is that they've learned for their own reasons. And I'm inclined to believe that a lot of column B was what was going on there. I didn't like words like incoherent that were used in describing that situation, all over the place, which he may have been all over the place, but I looked at it as somebody who was letting us in on the period before you make a decision between two subjects. That's what I saw. And I didn't think there was anything incoherent about it. I thought I was looking at someone who had two different subjects on the table, and they were trying to figure out which ones to pick from. And like the media, I felt, if they're going to be, and I say the media, meaning the people I'm referring to, and I don't have their names in mind, so forgive me if I'm blanketing everyone, because that's not my intention. But those in the media who were responding to the situation in the way that they were, I felt like speaking to the realities that he was facing is somewhat impossible, because you don't really know what's in a man's mind. But to identify what it is that he mentioned flat out and not splice it up, not take pieces and splices from it, as the media has always done, and twisting it, it's just a formula that's been used that I just think in this particular case, it's finally been the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It's just like, all right, after hearing about them do this for so long and seeing them do this loosely for so long, here we are with yet another example that's even more clear for me personally to take a look at. Just very clear. Because not only were they doing commentary around Kyrie Irving, but so was I. You see what I'm saying? So not only am I listening to what they're talking about before he said his 25 minutes, but I'm going back and I'm remembering what I said before them 25 minutes. And it's just like, no, I'm not going to come here and tell y'all that I heard something I didn't hear, or that I have the same point of view as I did. I think there are certain things about the situation I haven't changed my mind about, but as far as how much blame this person should get, how much leeway they should be receiving, whether or not I should question everything else that's been told to me about this person in the past, about the decisions they've made and why. It's enough balance being given to why he's doing what he's doing as it pertains to, what he's put into the world in terms of his humanitarian efforts and things like that. In other words, has this person done enough good for us to question whether or not those who are saying bad things about him are telling the truth? That's the question I have for myself. If I'm going to believe two people, am I going to believe the person who they're talking about, or am I going to believe the people who are talking about that person? No. And that's not an easy decision. I'm not saying that's just automatically going to be the subject you listen to, but in this case, I weigh all that Kyrie has done humanitarian-wise, and I say that that's enough for me to at least listen to what he's saying. Then I weigh all the times that all the complaints being said about these particular media members who have, all being accused, who have been accused by many people of doing the same thing, creating narratives and twisting words, stuff like that. This isn't the first subject they've done this to. If I weigh that credibility against his credibility as a person and what he's shown, I'm inclined to believe Kyrie Irving. Give him the benefit of the doubt before I give that media the benefit of the doubt. That's just the conclusion I came to personally. And it's like, I mean, look, that doesn't mean he's the greatest person. Just because someone does a bunch of good things doesn't mean they're the greatest person. But what I can say is when someone's making it a point to rope them together with something and speak so passionately about it, so definitely about it, and then to hear that person speak and say, no, that's not my point of view. That's not where I'm coming from. It may be some points of what I got going on, but that's not the basis of what I'm thinking. It's not what they say it is. I'm not exactly taking the stance they are, and I'm certainly not looking for what they're telling me the consequences are here. And look, that doesn't absolve Kyrie Irving from what he's doing in terms of delaying everyone else's progress and what it is they're trying to do for their team. I'm not sitting here saying Kyrie Irving is all the way right in this situation by any stretch of the imagination. And if we're talking to Kyrie, I've said in this camera many times, the best thing for you to do is to make a decision quickly for the betterment of others. What you're mulling over and all of that is important, but the choice doesn't reflect upon the importance you see within the subject. The delay of your decision reflects on the importance you place upon yourself. And that is what Kyrie Irving needs to hear, in my opinion. That doesn't remove him from being a great guy or from understanding the pressures that he has on him as it pertains to trying to make everybody happy or trying to do the right thing and not knowing what that is. But I can tell you what the wrong thing certainly is. And that's making other people go down with the ship while you stand kind of shell shock in between your decision. You got to relieve your brothers. If you're looking for the right thing to do, I think the right thing to do is nestled somewhere in being considerate. You know what I mean? Considerate of those that you can directly affect with your energy. Sometimes when we take certain stances, yes, we can affect the masses or we can affect many with our decision, but the people next to us get the worst of it. When you're trying to figure out what you affect, it's the people next to you that you ultimately affect, I think, because chances are changing the world is going to require a collaborative effort. Maybe the effort of those that you're leaving behind to support you. So if you want to really do the right thing, take care of what's close to you, I think. And then ask those people to help you what it is that you're doing overall. If such a thing can exist at the same time, who knows? But that would be the perfect way to do it, if you're asking me. If such a scenario exists, take that route, in my opinion. But it is what it is, man. I think we all have to grow up in our own ways. If we're in our 20s and 30s, like I am, like Kyrie is, we all have to get to another level of our maturity, of our consideration, of our consciousness, and all that good stuff. Kyrie will get there, but I think the part that bothers me, I guess, in his case and in Ben's case and some of these other cases, is that we didn't hear enough from them. We hear from the media, who we've listened to for many years about many people, who have done a good job of manipulating us into believing not only what they say, but how they say certain things. So whomever they're talking about, we're going to listen because of the formula that they've put in place for us to obey. So, next subject, LeBron James, such said about him. That's the formula for getting us to listen and believing. Next subject is going to be Tim Tebow. They say such about him. That's the formula for getting us talking. Next subject may be Kawhi Leonard. They say such about him. That's the formula for getting us listening. You see the pattern? And so you understand that. And once I understood that, then I started creating my own platform to try to combat that in my own way. And that's what this is. So, it is what it is, man. After about, say, 14, 15 minutes of talking about this, I just want to let everybody know I'm entertained by narratives too. It makes the NBA, makes the NFL fun. I'm entertained by these characters on TV too. I like what they do and I love that they do it. I think it gets to a point where their bosses above them have different agendas that may not even have anything to do with sports, may not have anything to do with stuff that we can even tangibly understand. And that's where I got a problem. What I would like to see us do is start calling out these people above the Stephen A. Smiths, calling out these people above the guys at FS1. Start talking to the guys that we know are behind the narratives, that we know whose interests are wrapped up in these things. Because we start screaming at Stephen A. Smith, I'm going to be honest with you, sports fans. That man ain't got that kind of power, y'all. I've alluded to this a couple days ago. That man is under contract. Anytime he says something they don't like, they suspend him. Anytime he coming out, he's basically a dog sicked on his own people. And we all know it. He's good at what he does and he loves money, so it's a good role for him in his life. But as far as him speaking for black people and stuff like that, until he gets out from under ESPN, you ain't never gonna hear from Stephen A. Smith, the real man. I'm just being honest with you. They have a muzzle on that man, and it's been clear for us to see for freaking 15 years. What he is fantastic at making it look like that muzzle is his very own mouth. It ain't. He has bosses, and he adheres to those bosses. He has a check he's trying to sign, and he is loyal to that check. The man has told us many times he's a capitalist, which means that he's gonna make sure that the bottom line is that S with that line in the middle of it, and two lines in the middle of it. That's what he owns. But he's taken a great deal of punishment as it pertains from his own people, trying to be that that voice for his bosses, and it's taking a toll. We can say what we want. You can see it's taking a toll. This whole Max situation tells us it's taking a toll. He wants to be able to at least peek out from under the curtain and say, "Yo, hey, I'm doing my job here. Hello, like when I retire, maybe I write a book or something. But right now, I'm just an employee doing the bidding of my bosses." If you really want to know what's going on, athletes, you really want to know why people doing this and this, Kwame's alluded to it. There's always someone behind the people talking to you. Pointing your vitriol at employees doesn't make any sense in any business. Talk to the bosses. Find out who's behind the guy talking. Find out who really moving chess pieces. Those are the people you apply pressure to. You want to see these narratives change. Talking to Stephen A. Smith, he's an employee, bro. Stop this. Somebody needs to say it. Stop this. We get on here, we attack people who don't have no power. Ain't got no damn power. He's a voice. Someone is telling him, say this, don't say this, you can say this, you can't say this. The field says that you can say this according to the numbers, but that you can't say because it probably isn't best for us. Someone's giving him orders. Talk to that person when you don't like what's coming out of Stephen's mouth. That's what I want to tell the world. And that's not limited to Stephen. That's any of these employees for any places. If you don't like what's going on, talk to somebody with some power. So anyway, that's what I got, man. That's all I got, man. You know, there's something that goes with having a voice that's free, and that's humbler circumstances. You have to live humbly if you want a free voice. At the end of the day, this costs. Being able to say whatever I want, it costs. I don't get big mansions. I don't get health care. I don't get anything, really. I get the ability to open my mouth and the consequences that come with it. But it's freedom that comes with that, you know? It's the ability to say what you want, be wrong, stand on that, and not have anybody come down on you about what it is coming out of your mouth. If y'all don't like what y'all hear out of my mouth, you talking directly to me. Ain't got no bosses. And that's how I like it. So, that's what it is, man. My name is BDL44. Enjoy the narratives. Do not believe them. Peace.